scarred but not taken. A day that changed everything. It was 12:15 in the afternoon on August 4th, a warm, quiet Sunday, as Shayna and I rode home from church. We'd slowed down to make a left turn onto our road, bringing us to about 10 miles per hour, with Shayna just 10 feet behind me. We both wore our helmets, as we always do, a habit we'd come to realize saved us in more ways than one. In that split second, I caught a glimpse in my mirror that will forever be etched into my mind. Shayna being thrown from her bike, her body flying in the air by the impact of a 3/4-ton red GMC truck that had barreled toward us, the driver unaware. Later, we learned he'd been drinking that morning. He was under the influence of drugs and was texting when he hit us. In an instant, he slammed into us at 45 miles per hour. Shayna was thrown about 15 feet, bouncing into the grass before rolling back onto the road. Her head bounced off the pavement several times, her helmet absorbing the impact but still bearing scars. The driver then hit me, sending me flying through the air. I crashed down on the right side of my stomach, and as I slid, my body rotated onto my chest and then left side. I slid 50 yards across the road before finally coming to a stop, my body laying flat on the ground as my hands were raised above me. My motorcycle kept going down the road another 200 yards before finally colliding with a light pole and shattering into many pieces. When I stopped sliding, all I could think was, I don't want to get run over. I crawled off the road into the grass, barely registering the pain in my left leg, which would later turn out to be a fractured ankle and fractured toe. I looked up and saw the driver, somewhat calmly stepping out of his truck with his phone pressed to his ear, as if he hadn't just wrecked our lives. Anger rising up in me as I noticed this man talking on the phone, but my focus shifted when I saw Shayna lying in the road behind me. "Shayna!" I yelled multiple times, hobbling toward her. Blood was pouring down her face, and her skin bore the raw marks of road rash. Yet she looked up at me, managed a small smile, and raised her thumb. "I'm okay," she said. That small gesture steadied me, grounding me in the chaos. I staggered back to the grass, feeling a burning pain across my chest and stomach. I lifted my shirt and saw the raw road rash riddled with gravel and dirt. I collapsed onto the grass, letting the exhaustion and pain overtake me. Officer Lafond was the on-duty police officer who arrived first on the scene. He was there when I needed him most. He took the driver into custody after he admitted to driving under the influence and texting, but more than that, he helped keep me calm amid the shock and anger. Shayna was being cared for by a good Samaritan named Jessica. She had witnessed the crash and saw Shayna's body flying through the air. Jessica later told Shayna she feared the worst when she reached her. She really didn't think she would see a person alive. But when she got to Shayna and saw her smiling, lying on the ground with blood running down her face, she focused on reassuring her. Jessica stayed by her side, telling her how beautiful she was, caring for her with compassion until the EMTs arrived. Shayna will always be grateful for Jessica's kindness and courage. We were both taken by separate ambulances to the same hospital, but they placed us in rooms several doors apart, each of us left in the dark about the other's condition. At the hospital, I was treated as a trauma 2 patient, enduring the painful process of having the road debris scraped from my skin, gravel and dirt pulled from every raw patch. Along with road rash, broke ankle and toe, I suffered fractured ribs, a blood clot developed in my left leg, and a few weeks later, I was struck with pneumonia. Shayna, too, bore her own injuries, stitches in her knee, a gash on her forehead, and deep road rash. Since that day, the impact of the wreck hasn't stopped. Endless doctor's appointments, therapy, and medical bills are constant reminders of what happened. The driver had only state minimum insurance, so we had to file a subrogated claim against our own policy, just to hopefully cover what he couldn't. Both motorcycles were deemed totaled, and we did not receive enough money to replace them in full. While he may walk away with just a slap on the wrist, we're left carrying the financial, physical, and emotional toll of his choices. As I think back on that day, I can't help but feel the weight of what could have been. Our lives were spared, and it wasn't by accident. Though we bear the scars, both visible and hidden, we're moving forward, knowing that every mile ahead is a gift we're meant to cherish. We are reminded every day we wake up that while that day may have scarred us, it didn't take us. We're here, and for that, I am deeply, endlessly grateful. Jeremiah 29:11 is a good reminder that for us, God had other plans.